Okay, this is my HighSlide photo template. Sue had a white border behind each photo with a wall shadow. What I've done in this case is just made an image. Control clone that, and I'll just bring that up here so you can see. And if we zoom in a bit, it's just an image. It's an image of a rectangle with a shadow on it. So that it's got a name. Oops, not that. That. It's got the image name of frame. So it's not repeated over and over again. That one image frame is used in this case 36 times 6 by 6, and this grid is 36 times. The problem, if you just make a rectangle with an outline and then put a Zara wall shadow on it, Zara wall shadows tend to be rather large in size, whereas that is quite clear. In fact, Gary goes a bit further than that and just creates a rectangle with an outline and then uses CCS to give the wall shadow. Right, let's have a look at the photo layer now. And in this particular case, there's 36 photos, all the same. And if I move this up here, you can see that that's photo. I don't know if I've given that a name or not. Probably did. Image. Yes, it's called Zara logo. That's the file name for that. So I'll just undo that. So all these images are exactly the same in this overlay here. In this particular template, the ratio of the images are 16 by 9. I could create a 16 by 12 template ratio, which would probably be better matches for a mobile phone ratio. Mobile phones tend to use that 16 by 12 size, so if anyone's interested, I'll just rehash this one to make a 16 by 12 instead of 16 by 9 template. I'll then just quickly go on and explain the others. Here's the guide layer, and you've got the guides to drop the images in, each image in. So they'll drop nicely into that. So they're fine, and I'll explain these others, like these vertical and horizontal lines here, later on. Further to this, we've got the exploration layer, which just gives you clues and what to do. You'll have to read those yourself and go through them. This is pretty self-explanatory. So that's the exploration layer. The other thing is the page background here. Hang on, I've got to the page background here is a named colour, and that named colour is, if I can get it. It's a named background colour. I can't edit it because I can't open my colour editor because it's the screen grab stuff sits right over the top of it. But you can easily change that colour to any colour you want. This section here is just a placeholder. It just says oops, head. It just tells the HighSlide where to actually place the HighSlide when it comes up the larger image in the center of the screen. In fact, I don't think I need the rest of that script, and I'll leave. I think I'll just delete that and apply, and I'll leave that in there. That makes that less complicated. Let's have a look at what happens when we preview it. Right, if you click on it, that HighSlide centers it each time. Centers it each time onto the screen. Centers it each time onto the screen. If you didn't have that, they would just flick around different resets and different positions all over the page. Current template is set by 6 columns by 6 rows, which is 36 images. And say you didn't want all those 36 images, you just say wanted a 3 by 4 grid. And the way to do that is just to resize the page down till it meets up with the guide layer, and similarly bring that up to meet up with that guide layer, and you end up with a 3 by 4 grid. And just to check that, if you go on to preview, there you've got a 3 by 4 grid. Let me explain that this website has also got a scale to fit width adjusted. That's completely up to you. You can change that if you don't want it. So we can close that down. Now let's just suppose of this 3 by 4 grid that which is 12 photos, you only had 10. It's quite easy. You can just click on this, and I go for Control K to clone it, Control K to clone it, and then I can move that down over there. Similarly, I can Control K to clone it again. I'll just move that over to there. And then if I preview, you can just have these images here. See, I need to reduce that down in size. These just hang off the bottom of the page a bit. So if I click that one and click that one, just move them up a smidgen. Not too much now. Preview. That's it, they've gone there. So you've then got just the 10 photos. One thing I'd recommend, let's just undo that. One thing I'd recommend is, if before you put this blanker over, or whatever you want to call it, is you delete that photograph and delete that photograph. The reason for that is, with HighSlide, if those photographs are still present, even though you can't see them, when you play it on a continuous loop, those Zara images will still show up. So really you need to delete that, Control K to clone that, bring that in here, and I'll shorten that one up a bit. Oops, not too much. Control K, bring that one over to here, I'll do it similar. Just going to touch up a bit. Preview. It doesn't seem to make any difference, but those images are no longer underneath there. So when you go to play on, say, click on that and play the HighSlide. Not that you can see anything here because all the images are exactly the same. Keep going through. Right, just click that down. But otherwise, if you change these images and then leave those Zara images below it, they will still come up on that looping slideshow. Okay, so let's actually change some images and see how quick we can do it. In here I've got this example photos, so we just got some photos in the actual thing. But you can import photos, you can do whatever you want. But they're in the layers gallery anyway. In the bitmap gallery, because they're already there. And all I need to do then is just to bring them across. Now all of these images are all at 1000 wide. I think if you're going to be using a digital camera, they possibly are a lot bigger than that, maybe 2000 or 3000 wide. And what's the best thing to do there is just to find a batch file resizer, photo resizer. There's plenty of them out there, and just resize the whole package. That's all your images are in a folder. Just resize them down to 1000 or 1200. That just keeps the Zara file size down. That's all. It saves. But if you're going to using 3,000 or 4,000 pixel wide images, the Zara file size can get quite large. Anyway, that's by the by. Here they are 1,000, and what I'll do is I'll just unplug that for a minute and open up the layers gallery, and then what we can do is I can just drag this into here, drag that into there, and notice that there's no need to resize any of these. They just click into the ones they want to. What have we got now? Poppies again, and those. I'll put one here, and I've got one left, and this one is actually got the same width, but it's a bit higher, so we can actually get hold of that, and holding down the control key, just move it up and down to suit. And say we don't want this one because we haven't got any more photographs, so I'll delete that. I'll control K to clone that one, and I'll move that over here. I'll shorten that a bit. Let's have a preview. And there you've got your 3x4. I haven't got any more photographs, so I wouldn't want those. So I'm going to reduce this down to a 3x3 grid. And the way we do that is getting hold of the page and just sliding it like that. If I preview, all it's showing is these, and if I click on them and then put on the slideshow, I'll run through. Now the only other thing you've got to remember is all the images are named Zara logo, and obviously you don't want that. So let's pause that, close it down, close that. Let's get hold of that image. Go to your web properties, image, and change the name here from Zara logo to tulips. Now the bottom bit on the tulips is the image file name, so that would be tulips.jpg but it is only for the thumbnail, not for the large image. You can't name the large image from what I can find out in HighSlide. And we'll just put some alt text to ellipse, apply, go through, I'm going to call this yellow flowers, so I've got no idea what they are. Yellow hyphen flowers, apply. I'll shut that down, preview again, start that. Now comes up tulips, yellow flowers, and as I haven't named the others, when it comes round it'll still be saying Zara logo, but you can quite easily change that name. So I hope that helped. Now personally I prefer to put these images into an iframe, so I would just export this file, export the website, and I'd call it HighSlide slideshow into a subdirectory, and then I'd get a page rather like this, and I'd have this, this is the main page, main site, whatever you want. Then I'd have a widget, and that widget would call the photo gallery, and this time I've got it 3x3. I haven't actually really, but I will put a link on so you can see it later on to do that. But there's nothing making you have to put that in an iframe. In fact, if you really want, if I just select those, edit, copy, file, new, 960, Control V, and just lock this down and open the page in my gallery again. You've got this this photos 16 by 9. Oh, hang on, I haven't copied the backgrounds across, so I'll undo that. Go back to this page layer gallery, and this time edit, copy, go back to this one, Control V, put that up here like that. Now the page and layer gallery, got the photo frames back in, which we didn't do last time I did it, and the actual photos. So you've just got a website you can use like that. One thing that I don't know. Let's say we want this page background here to be. I can just whip that in, make that page background. Look at that. And there you've got this images, all the rest of it, and click on it. And as I say, that comes up quite well. So you don't need to put it in an iframe. I prefer an iframe because then the image will just come up within that section, won't go over here. Still centering because I've got that centering on it. That's a way to do it. Hopefully, and this is the final bit that I need to take out, do that. I'll select everything there, which it says 30 objects on layers, photos 16 by 9, probably because that one's grayed out. But if I then go into the image section, the pop-up photos go to 500. I can make that 900 if I want. Apply. That should work for everything. So just to test it, preview. That looks like 900 to me. Just once more time. Image. Make it 1100 this time, which is a bit more than the actual images. That's 1000, but I'll apply it, and we'll test it again. If I open that to full screen, you can see that that's coming up very nicely. Anyway, that's the template. If anyone's interested, I'll make a 16 by 12 one as well, which is probably better for mobile cameras and everything else, but I think it works quite well. This is Egg. All the best. Goodbye. Off to do a lot of editing now on this video.